Welcome, welcome. I guess there's no point of asking how many of y'all are in the audience are members tonight. I'm assuming it's the house, but thank you. Thank you so much for being some of our biggest supporters, our members and our donors. Keep the lights on, make the wheels go round, and lets us be able to show beautiful cinema like you'll see tonight and like you've seen throughout this festival. I am so excited, and thank you. Honestly, thank all of you, and I applaud you. Welcome to the member screening for MVFF46. Tonight's sponsor I would like to bring up is from Community Action Marin, CEO Chandra Alexandre.
Thank you, Derek. Am I good? You can see me? Hello, everyone. Hello, Mill Valley. Hello, Marin County. Yes, I am very, very proud to be, on behalf of Community Action Marin, a sponsor tonight for this incredible film we're going to see. And just in that opening, the beauty of the human spirit, and truly Community Action Marin, we're a nonprofit. We're, in fact, the largest nonprofit social services agency in Marin County. We do the work of alleviating the causes and consequences of poverty, and like those robust images of the human spirit on screen, we help to fortify and strengthen and bring to life the beautiful, wild, incredibly innovative, and inspiring diversity of Marin County. And my request to you is to get to know us, get to know the invisible Marin, and help us to do the work that we do to move the needle, to build an anti-poverty movement in our community that reflects the beautiful, wondrous strength of the human spirit. Community Action Marin has been in Marin County for almost 60 years, and with a staff of over 200 people, we do the work of social change and social justice. We do the work of eliminating those causes and consequences of poverty with an eye on racial and economic justice. And my invitation to you is be a part of the change. Individual contributions of time and effort, energy and intention, they all matter. And in the after party, there's information. My colleague Geeta is here tonight. She can help share with you what your dollar can do, what your minute, your hour, your week, your investment of time can do, your connections and network. Community Action Marin is in the corner of our people, and I invite you to come be part of the change to build an anti-poverty movement to make this the thriving community that we all want it to be. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Join us, Community Action Marin, in your corner. Thank you.
Now I'd like to bring up our amazing stewardship manager here, Maureen Galliani.
Hi, everyone. So I'm to reiterate what Derek said, we really do appreciate each and every one of you. Your membership is really, really important. This is my 19th festival, and I know that some of you are really, I see new faces, but I see a lot of familiar faces too, and that's really gratifying. So thank you. We're really lucky to have this as our member screening tonight. You know, the programmers put a lot of thought into what we choose for the member screening. It's we want it to be special. We want you all to really, really love it, which you will. So tonight's film, as you know, is MÚSICA. And we've got our special guests, Rob Epstein and Jeffrey Friedman, the directors, and Susan Fanshel, the co-creator and editor that will be here after the film. But MÚSICA is just a beautiful film, and it's part of our Viva El Cine initiative, which celebrates the best in Latinx cinema. And Rob and Jeffrey have been making documentaries for almost 4 decades, and they have 2 Oscars, 5 Emmys, and 3 Peabodys. So please make sure that you stay for you're going to want to hear the conversation after the film with Rob, Jeffrey, and Susan. And then afterwards, you can all go across the street for a reception and just have a wonderful time. So thank you for coming.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring up the directors of MÚSICA. Rob and Jeffrey. Man, this was the perfect film for the members' screening. Such an uplifting film, and we need that in the world right now.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here as part of the program this year in our hometown, our home territory. So thanks for being here.
No strangers to this crowd, that's for sure. Well, let's jump right in.
Well, first there are two people we'd like to bring up, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Our co-filmmaker and editor, Susan Fanshel. And one of the subjects from the film, and my sister, Judy Epstein Gage, from Horns to Havana.
Yes, yeah. Well, welcome. Thank you for your participation.
Sure.
Well, let's just jump right in and tell us, how did this spark start? How did you get started with this film?
Well, obviously, it all starts with Horns to Havana, and I had been hearing about the work that Judy and David and the other volunteers in the organization had been doing. And in 2015, Jeffrey and I had the opportunity to tag along due to the generosity of executive producer Susan Sillins.
Here tonight.
And we went down and just literally were tagging along, and Machu Latore joined us to help translate, and we really didn't know what we would find in terms of a possible film subject. But then once we were there, we were just so taken, first of all, by the Cuban people and the warmth of the Cuban people and the incredible work that Horns was doing in the workshop. And then once we got to the school, to Amadeo Rodan, we immediately started filming with an iPhone and Machu's DSLR. And then we were kind of off and running because we were so smitten by the project and everything that we saw was coming from the work that Horns was doing.
And the students, of course. We fell in love with the students and the music.
Yeah.
So, and then we had to keep going back and seeing what they were up to next. And so it was an 8-year journey.
8-year journey, wow.
And before we get to Susan's involvement, the following year, we went back 2016, and at that point, we pulled together a crew, and we partnered with the great Cuban cinematographer Roberto Chile. So most of the work you see is Roberto Chile's.
And did it go through lots of different changes in all that time? I imagine the pandemic, of course, had a big effect on it, but did it change as far as what your original vision was of it was going to be?
You know, this was a film that it was an interesting film for us to make because many of our films have been historical. So we've known what the story is when we started. And this was just a different kind of filmmaking where we really didn't know where it was going to end up. So that's, it's exciting and nerve-wracking, but it's creatively, it was very interesting to follow the story rather than create the story. And then once we got the footage we felt we needed, or enough to get started, Susan Fanshel came on and really spent most of the lockdown just trying to figure out how to make a narrative out of the material. Would you like to talk about that process?
Say a little more.
there was a lot of wonderful material, and for a long time it wasn't clear how all of the different stories could weave together and build a big story. But I think that process, it's really hard to explain, but that process kind of evolves, you know, and because I was working during the pandemic, and a lot of that time was by myself, you know, with the film. It really was wonderful company, is what I can say. It was a very rewarding and wonderful time to spend with the material. I was never, I was always sure there was a film there.
You sure there was a film there?
I always was sure there was a film there, yeah. I didn't have a, you know, oh my goodness. But it took time to make it shape, right?
It really started with, I mean, from what I remember, what you first showed us was developing the individual character stories, so we really could set them up well enough that we would want to be on this journey with them, and that was kind of the initial proof of concept that you presented to us, that we had a film that could be character driven.
So, did you choose which characters you were going to focus on?
We did. We met Dariana at the workshop and started filming with her right away. And then when we got to the school, that first day we were there, the very first day, we immediately zeroed in on Rodrigo at the piano. And then the other two, Enrique, the headmaster of the school, introduced us to those two and suggested they might be interesting young people to follow, and indeed they were.
Uh-huh. And then others developed as it went along?
Well, those were the primary
Yeah.
stories we followed, yeah.
And Dariana was the other one, right? Did we talk
Yeah, I
about
mentioned Dariana, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think, Judy, you had sort of discovered Dariana, hadn't you? You and David?
You already had a relationship with Dariana by the time we came.
Yeah, well, she discovered us, really. She was, she heard that this group of luthiers was coming to Havana. She took an 18-hour bus ride to get to us because she was teaching in Guantanamo at that time. And she just presented herself and said, I want to learn about my instrument. And she had heard through the grapevine David's name. He's known among bass players. And that's how we met her. And we immediately kind of fell in love. So she's just a beautiful human being.
She emerged as
Yeah.
one of the stars.
Yeah.
Well, what was your biggest obstacle in this?
Oh, the most boring one, which is funding. Which
Always.
for any documentary
Yes.
filmmaker, that's always the biggest challenge. But we were able to get the film done. And then I think it was, our production periods were really short increments. I mean, we did this very economically in terms of how much material we shot, right? It was a very low shooting ratio. So our production periods were really short increments, and we shot over 5 production periods in total.
And stayed for a couple weeks at a time, or?
Not even. A few days.
Oh. Amazing. And did you have any kind of political resistance?
Well, each of our production trips, we were attached to Horns to Havana. So the organization helped in terms of our travel logistics. And then once we were in Cuba, working with Roberto Chile opened a lot of doors. I mean, he's revered in Cuba, and that gave us as filmmakers a lot of credibility, I think, in terms of going into those situations where they really didn't know us at all. But the fact that we were working with Chile meant something significant.
And did you ever have difficulty getting people.
Sorry, I just also want to mention we had a lot of help in terms of the logistics, and one of the people that really helped us is here tonight too, Catherine Murphy, who does a lot of production in Cuba, and she really helped advising us how to navigate all that we needed to navigate.
Right. Well,
I'd also like to acknowledge Tom Disher, the sound mixer, who's here somewhere tonight. He did a beautiful job. Anybody else we missed?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
well, I'd like to open it up to the audience. Do you have any questions here? You?
Yes, I'd like to know what happened to the pianist.
Rodrigo, what's the latest on Rodrigo?
Actively playing as a musician. Still in Cuba. His home base is Cuba, yes.
Anybody else want to have a comment or two or questions for him?
I was just curious about whether or not there's a way to support the ongoing work of Horns in Havana. I mean, I didn't see any website or anything, just that we've worked in other countries where you can get the Rotary to donate equipment, musical equipment, to other countries.
There is a website, hornstohavana.org, and we welcome everybody to go on it and get in touch with us.
Anyone else? There's someone in the back there.
I just want to know how, you said things slowed down during the pandemic. Yeah, how we can help get us started again.
Yeah, I think the question was, now that we're post-pandemic, what might be possible in terms of the workshop getting up and running again in Havana?
There's always the possibility. It's a lot of time and energy, and to be crass, again, it's some of it's financial. So
tell them about the infrastructure issues.
yes, the building that you saw that we had for so many years at the moment has no plumbing and very little electricity, and the plumbing is a major. It's not just a pipe. They would have to do a major bit of work, and the Cubans don't have the money, and at the moment, neither do we. So that would be a big issue, is relocating. Do we want to do it at some point? We would love to. We have younger people in our ranks that would like to participate, but at the moment, we're doing the cultural exchanges and the teaching exchanges.
Well, have your subjects been able to see this?
Dariana was at the Telluride Film Festival for the world premiere, which was wonderful. Lily, we hope, she will be coming to New Orleans. We're going to be at the New Orleans Film Festival in a couple of weeks.
Wonderful.
And then we've submitted to the Havana Film Festival in December. So we're fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, how do you think people can see this? I mean, how can these people tell their friends to go see this?
We don't have distribution yet. We live with hope. So yeah, just word of mouth, of course, can only help us in our efforts of getting the film out there. We're having a nice festival run. And hopefully we'll land somewhere where people have an opportunity to see it in a broader sphere.
In the meantime, it'll be at the Roxy tomorrow. So if you know anyone in the city who wants to see it, please let them know.
Yeah, the next film festival, we're at the Roxy as part of the Mill Valley Film Festival. We're at the Montclair Film Festival in New Jersey, October 28th and 29th. And then the New Orleans Film Festival, November 2nd and November 6th. And then the Key West Film Festival sometime in mid-November.
Wow.
And that's as far as we've gotten thus far.
And somewhere along the way, distribution will kick in.
Yes.
We hope.
We hope.
But until then, you mentioned you have a website, right?
Our website is Telling Pictures. That's Jeffrey. That's our company, tellingpictures.com. And then Horns to Havana is, what's the website for Horns?
HornsToHavana.org.
And just quickly, what are you working on now?
We're working on a documentary about a photographer named Peter Hujar. And you can look him up.
We're getting the signal to wrap it up.
We're getting a big signal. Here, give us a signal. Hey, he's getting a signal.
Well, thank you all for coming.
Okay, thank you.